everyone, and welcome to our Seeds of Bravery Agri-Food soft landing workshop. We're super excited that you're here today with us and that we gathered together to talk about, to explore this industry together with our amazing experts that we've crafted, that we've gathered for you as a part of Agri-Food soft landing workshop, Seeds of Bravery project. Moving forward, I want to tell you a bit more about the Seeds of Bravery itself. So Seeds of Bravery is a 20 million euro project funded by the European Union to support Ukrainian tech startups, bringing them closer to the EU. And inside of the project, we've have a lot of activities to help our deep tech startups, Ukrainian startups, grow and innovate. And it was made possible thanks to an amazing consortium of partners. We have 17 organizations and 2 associated partners, and they are mostly European associations that are organizations that are supporting Ukrainian founders for growth. Moving to the next slide, we have 5 programs. We will allocate 12 million euro in non-refundable grants. Partially, these grants have already been granted to our Seeds of Bravery beneficiaries, and we have the closure of the application already because we have many Ukrainian founders who have already applied and received these grants. But what is next that I want to tell you is that we have a lot of opportunities that are available for even non-beneficiaries and open to public. And one of these non-beneficiaries support programs is our market discovery workshops, soft landing workshops. So these programs are created in order for you to understand how foreign markets and different industries work. And today you're here because of this, to explore the AgriTech, Agro-Food tech soft landing opportunities. And this workshop was made by an amazing partners. Me, myself, Anastasia Lubisheva, I'm from Vacuum Deep Tech Acceleration. Today with me, I have Ata from Erasmus Center of Entrepreneurship. I have Abby from Access Big, and also Alona from Cyber Innovate. Guys, if you want to say hi to our participants, this is your chance.
Hello to everyone.
Yeah, go ahead, Aliona.
Okay, on behalf of Cyber Innovate team, I would like to welcome everyone at the event. We hope you will gain valuable insights and make new connections during this event. So we wish you fruitful and inspiring experience. Thanks.
Thank you. And also from my side, very warm welcome to everybody. So super nice to have you with us today. And as Anastasia mentioned, we are doing all of this as a consortium together with all the partners. And what we would really appreciate from your side is also engaging as much as possible, asking us questions and guiding the conversation based on your needs. So just enjoy the session today, and we hope it will give you lots of practical insights as well.
And just to echo the sentiments of our colleagues, welcome everyone, and I really hope you enjoyed today's session and get the most out of it. Be sure to ask loads of questions, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear partners, because it wouldn't be possible without you. And moving forward, I want to tell you a bit more about the agenda for today. We have a pretty packed agenda. We will start with Yuriy Petruk. He will talk about unlocking Europe's AgTech potential with sharing the key insights for innovators. Then we will talk with Johan about Europe's food tech dynamics, focus, growth trends, and have a fireside chat with him about the Ukrainian food tech potential. Later on, we will have Marina, who will talk about EU requirements for the export of agri-food products from Ukraine and opportunities that the UCCI can provide for new exporters. Also, we will have Bram, who will join us for the future of food, exploring the alternative proteins ecosystem in South Holland. following with Vera from EIT Food, and she will be talking about opportunities that are available. And one of my favorite parts, sorry for other experts, but one of my personally favorite parts is our fireside chat. It's like a panel discussion with Ukrainian Agro-Food founders, where they will share the stories of greed, growth, and impact. And we'll have founders from their Seeds of Bravery beneficiaries. So they will share their insights and how they grow and how they strive right now. From Sprout Dynamics, Heft Systems, Harvey Market, and Inbox Wine. So this is our agenda for today. Please stay connected and as my colleague said, ask lots of questions. And moving forward, I'm happy to introduce you with our first expert, Yuriy Petruk. And Yuriy will be sharing his insights on unlocking Europe's AgTech potential, key insights for innovators. Yuriy, happy that you've joined us. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Anastasia. And warm welcome to all the participants. Glad you make it here. And hope my presentation would give you some brief introduction to Europe AgTech market and how it's like feel itself now and what are the frontiers to reach. So today it will be pretty much like a presentation as an overview. I'm lucky to start because it's easy for me to like give an overview and then colleagues will be given a bit more like dig down into some specific markets and some specific trends. So let me introduce myself. My name is Yuriy Petruk. Like I'm a guy from the fields because my master is in agronomy. So I do understand what Agrifood is about on the farm level and on the fork as well. So at the moment, I'm agricultural consultant for digital agriculture and at Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations. And also I do advisory and consulting for multiple IT-oriented, mostly IT outsourcing companies who are working with clients in agri-food sector. Summary, I have 17 years of experience in AgTech. So like I was looking into that market from the very, very beginning and was like happy to get an evidence how fast it grows and really like reaching very high points at this level. So I'm lover of doing things from scratch. I started a couple of businesses, was a lot in community building because I was a founder of AgTech Ukraine association, which was developing the AgTech market and doing a lot of events to build this community inside Ukraine. And let's move to Europe. So to understand Europe, you do not need to think from Ukraine's perspective, because in Ukraine we have big farms, big fields, big tractors, big everything, big potential to export. Mostly we are oriented for grain and oil crops, and Europe is very much different. So most of land is privately owned in Europe. That's very substantial factor which makes investment very like reasonable for the owners. In Ukraine, we do not have this luxury yet, unfortunately, and that's why like with rented land, companies invest not so much into technology because they do not understand like would this land stay with them forever or not. In Europe, it's vice versa. This comes to another point. Because of that, and because of high price for land, most of farms are family owned and they're pretty small. In like Ukrainian scale, it's not even a business. It's usually like up to 50 hectares. So it's super, super small. Talking about this side, so usually the farm alone could not do much of technologies, and in Europe, very popular are cooperatives to grow some stuff, cooperatives to sell some stuff, cooperatives to do like some common operations for export, for bigger batches of purchasing. So cooperatives are really changing the landscape in Europe. So when you're thinking about one farmer in Europe, it's a bit weird perception because farmers are mostly driven by the regulations and by government donations. Because in Europe, if you are like looking at the profit levels without any dotations, like agriculture, especially field crops, are not super profitable. And real profit for the farmers comes from these dotations, government dotations. This is like much different from Ukrainian perspective. And actually the state and those organizations who provide those regulations and those dotations, they like basically dictate which technologies farmers should use. And that's very much different from Ukrainian perspective, where farmer decide himself what to do, when to do it, how to do it. That's what we should keep in mind. About regulations, yeah, it's heavily regulated market, about like starting from food security, labor security, all that stuff. Probably if you dive into any specific market, you would understand like it is really much harder than in Ukraine. And in Ukraine, like we were kind of a polygon for experiments to try a lot of things, especially in AgTech field. Now we basically know the baseline for Europe, and let's go to mega trends. That's what actually I was like inspired to do, to share with you. Sorry for the noises you might hear from my side, because I'm in the airport right now and there are some kids handling around, so forgive me these little noises. And let's start with megatrends. So megatrend for me, which is number one, is development of agricultural robotics. So if like 10 years ago, it was also a trend, but it was not handy. It was not particularly useful for real farmers in real fields. It was more about innovations and more about like technologies going forward and beyond. But now this market is already like have pretty good capitalization, and it is already usable for regular farmers. And Europe is making like good moves in this area. So key countries which participate are France and the Netherlands. So in France, they have like even a strategy that agricultural robotics should be like a focus area, and France should be number one country for agricultural robotics. And till the moment, they are pretty much good doing this job. So I would share the presentation, and you would be able to access all those links which are enlightened here in the presentation. There are some organizations which are like good to follow. Go far, it's like global organization for agricultural robotics. They are like it is started by French guys, but there are like a lot of international participants. They are organizing the event, key event for this area. It's called FIRA. It is taking part in Toulouse in France, and also they started to do it a couple of years ago in the USA. Nice catalog where you could find information about robots which are available on the market, which are like not only on the development stage, but which are really feasible and usable now. It's called Duck Size. There are a few other organizations, like you have links for them in the presentation. RobAgri is an association. It's like at the moment it's 80 plus members who are robot manufacturers. So please have a look at this thing. So this trend is like #1 for me, and it's like going in very wide steps every year. And now, like if previously it was too regulated to be adopted in Europe, now finally the regulations started to be a little bit less restrictive, and companies achieved some metrics which were like key, and now those technologies are really booming. Let's move next, and second megatrend is controlled environment agriculture. So like you probably heard about vertical farming and all that stuff, and guys from Sweden FoodTech probably know about it like much better than me in like particular applicability. But this market was going through its not best times through the last like from 2020 to 2022. There was like huge recession, and it was because most of companies which participated in this controlled environment agriculture, or CEA, they were focusing on technologies, not on profitability and business models. And now the market really cleaning itself from just fancy guys with good presentations, or just engineers who cannot understand like business and how it works. And now there is a second wave with huge focus on business models, and with focus on some very specific applications. So I have a point here: focus tech solutions matter. Here I mean that you as a new founder, like probably building either agrobotics startup from scratch, or controlled environment agriculture, like big solution, is quite hard and tough in terms of financing and time and engineering expertise. But if you are focused on one small piece, let's say how to control the humidity in controlled environment agriculture, and if you have a specific precise solution, the market is really now open for this. And where it all moves. So if it started basically from greenhouses automation and vertical farming, where you stack crops not only like on one layer, but like in multiple layers, now it's moving into a bit different field, where you focus on quality and qualities of final product. So basically you control, let's say in tomato, you could control how big is it, how red is it, how like dense is it, how much sugar it contains, how much acidity it contains. So focus would be shifting towards those metrics. Let's move forward, and the next big trend is like it's called sustainability metrics. We all have heard about greenhouse gases, and that there is existing voluntary carbon credits and carbon offsets market. Basically how it works: some companies, they are producing a lot of CO2 and other greenhouse gases, and they usually overgo the quotas they're allowed to do, and they need to buy carbon credits from somebody who actually eliminate some CO2 production or other greenhouse gases. And agriculture, good news, agriculture is consuming CO2, because during the photosynthesis, like CO2 is got into like organic matter, and it holds itself until the full digestion. And where like technology comes and where the market comes in this particular field. So in Europe, those regulations became really practical through the last like 3 years, maybe 5 years ago. It really started. At the moment, it's voluntary market, and companies from agriculture side could claim their carbon credits through the certification either of carbon sequestration in the soil, either through a reduction of their emissions through like good agriculture practices, what it's called. What it means. So basically, if you use heavy equipment, you burn a lot of diesel, and you like pollute more. If you start like do low tillage of the soil, if you start using like not the deep like soil surfacing, then you produce more damage and less damage, and then you could pretend that you decrease the level of your greenhouse gas emissions, and it could be also used as a carbon credit. Why this is booming now? Because big banks and insurance companies started to get interested. And as I'm working with Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, I know that like multiple projects are going now, like they are active, and all the participants in the market, they are waiting for the regulated market, where it would be some like big regulator, probably one for the whole Europe, which would be holding the platform where carbon credits and carbon offsetting could be done. Please look at the Vera, its certification authority, which is the most popular now in the whole world. Let's move further because I see I'm not on time. So next megatrend is remote sensing interpretation. What I mean here, remote sensing is it's basically satellite data from EU satellite authorities. Like we have a Copernicus mission, which is a pretty big thing. They have Sentinel constellation of satellites, which provide like weekly, sometimes even more often data about like all the land particles in Europe specifically. And at the moment, we have a lot of commercial companies like Planet Labs, which are also providing satellite imagery. So at the moment, you could access like a lot of points of data with multiple spectral and multiple resolutions, spectral boundaries. And at the moment, this data is stacked, but it is used mostly for some like very limited amount of things which could be done. So first thing, usually which is most common, it's when you have NDVI maps like I have here on the right side. And based on those maps, you could think about how your field is performing and how your crops are feeling. So you basically understand the territorial inequality of your fields. But this data has a lot more potential. And at the moment, a lot of companies and organizations like NASA Harvest, like many institutions worldwide, they are working on models which could make the data more applicable. So particularly it's about crop identification, early yield predictions, how we monitor the crop rotation on the field, because sometimes companies are doing on the fields a bit different things than they assume to do. also crop operations identification, and this all should be connected to the statistical data. Why it is, one more time, very important, it's very much connected with the previous slide, which was about sustainability metrics. What it means. So at the moment, these guys like Vera and other certifications, they need to send people somewhere on the field to verify about like which operations have been done, like take soil samples, take plant samples, and do all the lab testing. But we do really have a lot of things and a lot of data with like tens of years of history from satellites. And those data could be really, really interpreted much better than it is done now. Let's move forward. It's actually the last one, which I wanted to make emphasis on. So like mega trend, it's field scouting, but not the usual field scouting, which you could see on the picture. So like companies now are seeking for solutions which could secure for them an opportunity to do it remotely with like at least with least possible resources involved. And satellite imagery, drones, they are playing like a really, really huge role in this. So it could, what it could give. So it could secure futures contracts because you would be able to assess future yields. It could bring a lot of like new instruments and new markets for agriculture and insurance, because at the moment it's mostly index insurance based on weather conditions. But to do any verifications, you should go to the field. At the previous slide, there was like a little abbreviation, which is called MRV, measurement, reporting, and verification. So that's basically the thing which is very much connected to field scouting, where you should be able to measure something and verify was it like really this one or not. So for field scouting, those technologies which could help it to be done remotely are really on the top demand now, because it's crucial for not only insurance companies and banks, it's also crucial for traders, it's crucial for chemical companies, like for seed producers, for breeders, and this is like very prominent market to follow. And any model, it needs ground truth. So if you're able to do any solution very good gather ground truth data, then you are king. So let's move next. And I could not go and pass the AI for Agrifood. So AI for Agrifood is not pretty much particularly interesting for farmers themselves, but it plays already a huge role for big corporates. So mostly it's now very much involved in genetics, where we're talking about new breeds and new chemicals. Basically, it's pharmacy and agricultural chemicals. They are very much connected. It's basically the same thing. And new chemicals are now already in testing mode with AI tools. It also pretty much popular now for analytics of farm management systems data, because we have a lot, like a bunch of those programs which are called FMS, and they collect really huge amounts of data, but previously they were like not so much analyzed, and now it's moving forward pretty fast. With all the surveillance systems, we could detect either cow is like feeling bad, either chicken is like falling. So it's again AI and image recognition technologies are playing a key role already in those systems. It's also used for logistics routes and logistics cost optimization. The previous point where we spoke about the satellite data, it's also now is heavily like advanced with AI, and it all goes to bring us some new instruments which we would be able to help us make right decisions. So those are decision support systems. With dual use technologies, which are mentioned on the next slide, agriculture is not like the biggest thing, but we do have a lot of applications for drones. It's imagery, it's field scouting, and its application of chemical and biological treatments. Also, agriculture was pioneering in autonomous driving platforms, and those technologies are now pretty much used even in Ukrainian front lines. Probably you've heard about those cases when like tractors are driving fields to do demining. So like this self-propelling autonomous driving solutions, no signal navigations, those things are like can be used not only for the peace times, but they are also crucial for the times which the world is overcoming right now. And to finish my presentation, I want to share with you some tips and good resources. So I would not be throwing into details right now. There are a bunch of good resources to check, and there are like 3 or 4 resources which are fresh and which you could assess and understand like the market landscape and the investment landscape on this market right now. Yep. On the next slide, I have a couple of people which are nice examples to follow. So Petruk, the guy is originally from Holland, living in New York. So he is doing a lot of like good writing about AgTech. Shane Thomas, he is doing upstream AgTech Insights. It's newsletter, weekly newsletter. It's like pretty much interesting, mostly concentrated on the US, but also he covers Europe. Marco Brini is like really good scientist when it comes to precision farming, and he got like a couple of books published freely. On his LinkedIn, you could find links to those books, and I heavily recommend you to read it. If you are serious about those markets. And Petruk van der Loopt, he's also from the Netherlands. He is the head of Kubota Innovation Center, and he is a guy who has been in the area for like decades, and he can connect you with different nice pieces of technologies. So yeah, that's it from my side. I'm not sure if you have time for questions. But the last slide, there is QR code for my LinkedIn. And if you are eager to discuss something in particular, ask me. I'm open to help. I might be not the fastest answer through like May, but generally I'm very welcoming any new connections. Thank you.
Yuriy, thank you so much for your presentation. It included everything that we asked you to prepare and even more. I really appreciate that with your insights, with the reports. I think it's super valuable. Unfortunately, we don't have time for questions, but we have a couple of questions for you there in the chat box. So if you have time, could you please type the answers to our participants? We would greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Yuriy. And Thank you. And we're moving forward. And today with us, we have Johan Jörgensen. And Johan will cover two topics today. First, it will be a presentation inside Europe's food tech, dynamics, focus, and growth trends. And following with the fireside chat that we'll have with Johan about Ukrainian food tech potential. Johan, the floor is yours. Hi, happy that you were able to join us.
Thank you for letting me join you and give my little shout out to the world regarding what I think is the future of food. And I must also say thank you to Yuriy, because it was an excellent presentation that we had that really dug deep into what the future is regarding food. And now it's time for me to have a couple of minutes with you. So let me just share with you a couple of slides and why the future of food is so bright. I'm Johan Jörgensen. I'm a part of Sweden FoodTech. And what are we? We're a world-leading think tank for the future of food. And we've been around in Sweden doing work on the future of food and food tech since the past 15 years about. We introduced food tech to Sweden, and I before that had a background as an investor and entrepreneur in the tech sector. So when it comes to food tech, I feel first of all my great interest for food can be merged with my background in tech, and I really like that. And we can say basically we do three things. We provide insights to people, and once we provided those insights to people, and that's insights not regarding what taste PepsiCo will have next year. It's more like, okay, so where's food heading for real, because this is a transformation. And when people realize that, they most often say, okay, so who do we connect with? Who do we talk to? How should we think? And then we help them set up projects in order to do that. And once a year we have a big food tech conference called the Big Meet, which happens in Sweden 29th and 30th of September this year. I think you should join if you have the opportunity. So what's all the fuss about? We talk about food tech, and immediately people go down into the lab-grown meat arena. But whereas it's really about the profound transformation of the food system, which is the largest system on the planet, with the help of strategic insights, innovation, policy, investments, technology. So that's what this is about, not fancy tech, because we're rearranging a really large system. And this is really the curve that explains why we're doing this and why this is the most interesting time in history. So if you take a look at the further left on this curve, you see 1950. And that's about when the green revolution starts, when we realize that soon we will be 4 times as many people on the planet, and we don't have food for them. So we need to ramp up food production remarkably. And we did that by throwing exactly everything we had on food production. That means industrial methods, technology, mechanization, chemistry, new seeds. We banged farms together to get larger and more industrially efficient territories to farm. We went on a grain diet because it's more efficient to produce calories through grains. And lo and behold, we fixed it. Because today we can't feed 10 billion people on planet Earth. We just had a little side effect to this remarkable feat. And that is that we achieved high costs of medical care and environmental degradation as a side effect to this. And of course, when you look at this, and the Rockefeller Foundation, which is a huge US foundation, took a look at this the other year and could state that, okay, the true cost of food in the US totals roughly $3 trillion, which is an awful lot of money. But only 1 trillion of that is actually the cost of food. The other 1 trillion is the negative health effects coming from the food you eat. And the last trillion is actually the environmental degradation that the food production methods that we deploy today give rise to. Now, food is, of course, not just food. It's a vast system that has been designed in order to get you to eat not just food anymore. It's ultra processed, it's heavy marketing, it's all the trimmings of a great commercial system. that perhaps sometimes are not as good for the environment and us as we would like it to be or to believe it should be, right? But food is also something that is very deeply ingrained with us in images from our childhood and onwards. So we actually let this system, which is like big oil or tobacco, go on and on and on. At least we have let it until today. And that's why I would like you to consider food in other terms than these terms that we typically see in the headlines out there. Oh, the food tech investments go down. And this is not significant for the food sector transformation. It's not that we pour 6 billion or 4 billion euros into food tech startups. It's something far more profound. So let's take a look at that. So we drew this, I wouldn't call it curve, but you know, image. If we take a look at the plate value, the cost of food, if you buy it off the shelf and cook it, you have a plate value on planet Earth of 14 trillion US dollars. That's an awful lot of money. It's about, you know, 12% of global GDP. But if we have as high costs for health and environment, coming out of that 14 trillion US in plate value, we are suddenly going towards, you know, a third of global GDP generated directly or indirectly by food. And by GDP here, of course, we don't talk about the traditional GDP as in terms of production of value, you know, services or products. It's the amount of money that this system is costing us. And what I'm absolutely mostly appalled by is that fact that we completely have forgotten all the opportunities that we have with food. We've come to see food as something that is aching to a cheap, you know, fuel that we should just stuff ourselves with. But in truth, I mean, food is the source of productivity. Can you eat yourself to a more productive life? Yeah, sure. Every top athlete knows that. We dummies, we can also eat ourselves to probably increasing our productivity with at least 10%. Just by eating right. And then you multiply global GDP with 10% just because of better food habits. And of course, you have kids in schools, their grades, could they be improved by serving them good food? Yes, of course they can. And then we see for ourselves a life with higher income and higher tax pay, you know, taxes as well, of course. So all these opportunities where we can use food, not just for productivity or better grades, but for integration or education or even joy in life, because we only eat 12 plants and 5 animals today on planet Earth, which means that we miss out on an entire universe of joy when it comes to taste. And now, of course, what do we do in order to fix this? Well, we have these prescription drugs such as Wegovy or Sem. This isn't me, by the way, on the picture. It could have been me, but it's not me. That we now have to use in order to counter food. So pharma suddenly is against food. And what we're seeing there is that once people start taking drugs in order to fight food, I think we're on a slippery slope to a bad place. Though I can't blame the pharma companies, and I definitely don't blame the people taking them. I've done that myself, right? It's amazing how well these drugs are equipped to help us not eat crap. And to me, actually, we need to consider medical as well as part of the food sector in the future. I think we also need to understand that we don't know anything about food or nature today. Here we have Demis and John. They got the Nobel Prize in Chemistry last year for their work on DeepMind. And DeepMind is this Google project where you have crunched with the help of AI how proteins fold. And I think it's 200 million proteins they've managed to understand how they fold, and how a protein folds is actually to a great deal giving the protein its effects, right? So understanding how proteins fold is super important. And what is happening out there? Yeah, well, we're getting to learn more and more and more about nature. And I think this project is something I really would like to lift here. It's called the Earth Biogenome Project, where they aim at, until 2030, map out every living creature on Earth, so that we can have their DNA cataloged and then analyzed. And that means that, you know, we have to go for the last remaining 80 to 90% of the species that we don't know anything about. So when we claim that we know anything about nature, or that we know anything about food, or farmers says, I know best what's supposed to be on my land, yada yada, it's not true. A farmer today is he's working on the line, so to say, of the industrial food system, and he or she perhaps doesn't have the full clue as to what nature really can give and bring us. So when we're now trying to refigure food, because the costs have become so unbearably high for the food system that we have today, we can think and allow ourselves to think in entirely new ways, much like we did 70 years ago when we came up with the green revolution, right? And let me just finish this this session before we go over to the chat by pointing you to the coolest stuff I've seen in all my years of food tech, and I think you will like this, and that is culture. And culture is coming out of the computer and science labs of Sony in Tokyo, by Professor Masatoshi Funabashi, who made a traditional growing method of Japan into science and then improved it. And this is about humanly augmented ecosystems. Now, what we've seen so far in all pictures of farming, and that is rows and rows and rows of the same crops. But plants are like humans. We like to hang out with different types out there. They can give us different things, right? And the example here that I show you is a cracked clay field in Burkina Faso, south of Sahara, an area about to become desert. And, you know, here they've committed to slash and burn farming. So they burn down a patch of rainforest, grow maize, I suppose, in the ashes. And after a couple of years, the land can't take it anymore. So it just turns to this cracked clay field. And they started with this humanly augmented ecosystem where they plant an absurd amount of diversity in this field. So roughly 500 edible plants in the field of, I think this was actually 500 square meters or so. So, or 5,000 square meters, so not half a hectare. And after 1 year, that's the picture on the right-hand side. That's an edible rainforest. And the first harvest after 6 months. Now, what is this? This is something that yields somewhere between 50 and 200 times the normal farmland yield in Burkina Faso. So it's flipped the equation when it comes to yield. What is interesting with this is, of course, that you cannot run a tractor over this at a given time and then collect a given quantity of a given quality. So this means very, very hard to push this into the industrial food system of today. But hey, we can have endless amounts of food on this planet if we want to. Food is not the problem, it's the system, how we produce it. And to me, this has made me think about how we probably should engage when we talk about technology and models, and that is to build on nature and then let these technologies and models that we can make up in our beautiful minds or AIs serve nature instead, because the bounty that can come out of nature is incredible. Now, this is a piece of shit land that was turned productive. What if you have really, really good land like you have in Ukraine? What type of Garden of Eden could that lead to? And I would basically like to leave you with that type of thought before I show you this image here, which is a basic guide to food sector transformation that we wrote the other year together with the Stockholm School of Economics, where we go through a bunch of these various developments that you see out there. And so you can get the taste of a bit of many things. And I think this is not just keeping one thing in mind, it's keeping a bunch of things in mind at the same time when you see how this transformation takes hold and gathers steam. And mind you, we can talk about setbacks here and there. I don't know how many industrial transformations I've seen through my years in tech, but there are quite a few of them, and it goes up and it goes down. But the fun thing is that once you realize the logic direction, things pretty much tend to go in that direction. And I think that we have reached the same thing for food. From now on, it's only going to go in sustainable and healthy direction for food. And I think we're going to see a massive pushback, be it through drugs or policy making against the bad parts of food going forward. And I think that promises a great future for humankind. Thank you so much.
Johan, thank you so much for this amazing presentation. And yeah, now I can see you. And let's start our fireside chat. I have lots of questions for you, but I would like to start with like you often speak about the need for transformation shifts in the food industry. And in simple words, what does the transformation looks like for you? And where do you see Ukraine fitting in this transformation?
Two very good questions. First of all, I don't think we have started really yet in earnest. When we take a look at the size of this transformation, again, back to the notion of how much is invested in small startups, insignificant. The size and scale of this transformation is fully on par, if not bigger, than the energy transformation. So we're talking about hundreds of billions of euros a year in Europe alone. So that's where we're heading. And this means this is not going to go into subsidies to companies or anything like that. It's going to go into other types of market conditions, be it sugar taxes or public sector procurement of good food instead of bad food, tweaking the gap, the cap. Especially we need to do that when Ukraine joins the EU. We need to fix the cap in one way or another. So there is this huge, massive transformation coming. And I think more and more people are starting to see this as a positive, not just something that is threatening. And of course, many people in the current food value chain feel threatened. I don't think they should. I think they should feel energized, because food, when you look at it, is probably the only thing we can consume in the future if we want to have a sustainable life on planet Earth. Forget about plastics from China or other crap products out there that we consume that devastate the planet. If we just look at the carbon emissions alone, we can only engage with one activity, and that is eating. But hey, what an activity. It's an amazing thing to do. You can eat yourself through life. Is that good or bad? I think it's good, and you can enjoy every single part of it. So I think as a country such as Ukraine, that is, part of this big industrial food system, on par with the US Midwest or Brazil or other great, large scale farming nations. But you also now face a situation where you will rebuild once this shit is over, right? And then don't rebuild and go into the past. It's like, go back again. Yes, we want to have it like it was. Use the opportunities that are going forward, in making sure that all the assets and all the knowledge you have amassed over the years, plus all the other knowledge out there, that is, can reshape your food system to be fully integrated with the European Union and the rest of the world. Because we need your technology. We need your food. Europe isn't self-sufficient when it comes to food. Please bear that in mind. My nation is 50% self-sufficient. That's not good.
And actually, the next question is really connected with what you just said. I wanted to ask you about the. That Ukraine has a deep agricultural roots, and we recently spoke with you and talked about the emerging technologies like AI, robotics, or drones. So the question is, how can these technologies be meaningfully integrated into these contexts, and without losing what already works? So do you see any First of all, what do you think about the potential that is growing right now in Ukraine due to this situation that we have, and how can we, flourish with these technologies and maybe be connected to EU to share the knowledge and to become thriving ecosystem in terms of agri-food technological.
Well, I think there are a couple of obvious ones, right? So you're absolutely world leader when it comes to drones. Full stop. There's nothing we have in the Nordics or I think in Europe that can probably compare to that. So use that. And I can't see any aspect of farming, be it traditional or new farming, being executed without drones in the future. Either for precision, if you want to spray chemicals, which you shouldn't do, right? But drones can do that. They can do pest detections. Then they can measure how much more water you need to feed your trees. I mean, there's no end to what you can do with drones and AI, right? So use that. And then I think it's also important not to bash the way of farming that you have today. We still need to feed ourselves the old way, but I think you should definitely try and go for the next gen type of farming based on the preconditions that you have that are unique, which is amazing farmland, fantastic technology, and you're obviously pretty good at adapting to radical new situations, right? So use that instead of trying to cement like people do in the Nordics, for instance. There is such a pressure now, back pressure against transformation in Sweden, because the farmers union or the big food, they really feel threatened, and I don't think they should. I think you should see this as an opportunity instead, and then build on the good stuff. And I think Yuriy mentioned Vera. I mean, like, there's absolutely no way that we can certify and give people access to carbon credits unless we can use drones to traverse the landscape and map out what's the situation. So the tech that you have is or could be in the service of nature and transformation you want to have. So make sure that you seize on that opportunity.
And if you were on the startup side, on the Ukrainian startup side, right now with the technology, with the understanding of local market, what would you do? What would be your first steps to integrate and to localize, to test our agri-food technologies in Europe?
I would try, probably. I'm just guessing from having thought about this for a few seconds, but I would probably try to map the drone situation, the current and the future drones, the drone usage in food production one way, and then I'll try to see the gaps. Where do you have the gaps, and I'll try to fill them. That's probably one of the things, and then I'd probably make sure that I'll try to see what are the interesting, unique preconditions. And this, I don't know if there are any unique and preconditions when it comes to farming in Ukraine, for instance, when it comes to soil. I mean, Europe is desertifying as well. Portugal, Spain, Italy, etc. It's turning into wasteland. And so could you? What type of situations could you fill? What type of empty spaces are being created currently by the climate change? And I would definitely take also deep think regarding what is it that I'm farming, and how am I farming that? Should it really only be these million hectares of land and 14 harvesting combines over the same field at the same time? Is that really the way forward? So create some sort of a vision or an image of where you want to go and where you could go with food that is positive and including, and then let that drive you over time to this transformation.
And when you look at Ukrainian food tech startups, what do you think could help them become more visible and attractive to global partners, investors, accelerators? Like when finding the opportunities, what would you highlight and what would you pay attention to become seen?
Oh, I would make sure that first of all, I have something that no one else has, right? So you have unique solutions out there. That is absolutely, it's the same thing as in every tech situation. You have a unique solution to a unique problem, and you have a credible team that can deliver on that. You have a clear roadmap. And I mean, then it's just going out there like anybody else. And I don't think it's different from Ukrainian or Swedish or anybody else. You just have to be out there, banging on the doors and attending the conferences if you're allowed to leave, right? So and or otherwise be part of these online networks, and make sure that you do the work that every other successful entrepreneur does, which is commit yourself and be focused on what you do, and then do it with all your heart.
And is there any specific metrics or proof points that really matters when you start reaching out to corporates, investors, that they typically look for while evaluating an early stage AgTech, FoodTech startup?
Well, I mean, you need to have some traction, of course. Your technology needs to be solid. It probably, when it comes to tech, you also need to have your property rights in shape. It's always the case that you need to be able to have your focus area, focus on that, and then make sure that you move the metrics, so to say. That's always a good advice. So you identify the metrics that count, and then you move the metrics, and you try to shy away from doing all the other funny things that you discover as an entrepreneur that you can do with your technology. Keep that laser focus, and do not deviate. So that is something I'd probably focus, and then be honest with your calculations. No one is happy when they discover that, yeah, okay, so you're profitable year 3, but where are the salaries in your calculations, for instance? So many entrepreneurs forget about that. So as an AgTech or a food tech startup, I'd probably go and make sure that I use the other tech sectors. So I go and see, okay, so how can I get to the highest standards of the tech sector? So then you suddenly become interesting for the people out there. You look and feel like everything else. And then I think also you should be aware that sometimes the food sector is not so much for venture as for more patient capital, which is family offices, those types of private equity firms. I think that's something you should also consider. What type of investor you're looking for, if it's an investor you're looking for, what type of partner you're looking for, and don't spread yourself too thin. I mean, it's good to start to become good somewhere. And you don't need to go to the US or the UK day one. I mean, like, if you become a really, really good and fast growing company in Poland or Germany, that's really good too, right? This is a long game.
100%. And can you please share a bit more about the Sweden FoodTech and how possibly our startups can collaborate with you or get access to what you're doing?
Sure. I mean, it's super easy. Just follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram, and then you join us when we have this food week that starts on the 29th of September this fall in Stockholm. It's going to be an entire food week where we will serve the 2 first days, and then we'll have the chef of the year cooking competition. If you're familiar with the EAT Forum, we'll have their big policy conference. There will be a bunch of science conferences happening at the same time. So come and join us. And I mean, there will always be a chance to promote yourselves in those circumstances. And we do love Ukraine, and we've been participating in other types of contexts, and hope that we can actually bring something of value. And you should bring value to one thing I was thinking about. You sold your the US came in and demanded mineral rights. It's like, yeah, I'd prefer Ukrainian food, actually. if I could choose what I would have out of you guys. so bring some food and join Sweden. I think that's the best.
Noted. And I also wanted to raise a topic of like everyone talks about sustainability, but like in real terms, what does a truly sustainable food tech startup look like, in your opinion? And how can Ukrainian founders ensure that their impact is like it goes beyond the surface level claims?
Yeah, so first I'd like to say, if you talk about what type of grade of sustainability you are, then you're not sustainable. It has to permeate through everything that you do. Even if you're not sustainable in certain parts of it, that's something you strive to address. And one thing, if you come to Sweden and you try to do greenwashing, you're out pretty quickly. That has been seen through and it's being frowned upon, etc. So don't try to greenwash. Go for the real thing, right? Because that's what the planet needs, right? And we'll be looking for that. And we don't want to invest in things that just claim to be green. It has to be green now.
And last question would be, if, for instance, Ukrainian startup reach out to you and presents their breakthrough Agri-Food idea, what would the first question that you would ask them, like the most, like maybe not the first, but one of the most, key questions that you would like, or that you would ask them, and what kind of support would you advise them to look for if they are, I don't know, not ready to scale, to raise investments, etc.?
Well, I think, first of all, I think you should always make sure that you are scalable before you start to go to international markets, even though it's just tiny little Sweden. Make sure that you have everything in order first. It's impossible for someone like me to coach a Ukrainian company in Ukraine before they come to Sweden. You have to fix that yourselves first. Super important. And the second one was, okay, what do you hope to get out of this? So what's your plan? Why do you get in touch? Besides the fact that we know a lot about this, we know a lot of people, but we don't invest. So what is it that you're hoping for? So just to get the levels of expectations right. And then I'd probably say it's take a dip in the market, come here, take a look for yourselves, check out a couple of different people. It's easy. It easily lands in my lap because I tend to be one of the more visible people out there coming from Sweden, right? So everyone's okay. I'll talk to Johan and see what happens. But the fact is that we're a tiny little think tank. We're self-funded. We don't have we don't have a method for onboarding people to Sweden, for instance. So I'd probably say that it would be sweet if you guys bunch together and you come as a delegation. That is easier. So make sure that we have next week, for instance, we have a bunch of Italian companies, big companies coming here to Sweden as a delegation. They do an awful lot of that, and it makes it really easy for us to engage with them. So that's probably something you should think of. And then, of course, be part of all these great networking events. I think EIT Food is one of those places where you should hang out a lot. Great events, great networks.
Definitely, we'll have a representative of EIT Food today who will talk about opportunities that are available there. Is there anything else that's like you would like to say to our founders as a closing remark?
This is a great time of change, and when you sit in the elderly care center and you look back on your lives, you will say that, okay, what really defined my life was that we managed to fix the food system. Because if you don't say that, it's because you're dead, right? Because if we can't fix the food system, we're fucked. So let that sink in. We need to do this, and the rewards for those who are able to help us fix this food system will be ginormous. I can't say how or when or where, right? But this is one of man's most crucial questions right now. So run with that.
Johan, thank you so much for this fireside chat and for this presentation. I think I could talk to you more and more, and definitely if our startups would gather and start asking questions, we wouldn't be able to stop them. I really appreciate you taking time to support Ukrainian ecosystem and present your thoughts, ideas, and experience here today with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear participants, we are moving forward, and Abby, I will kindly ask you to share the screen to present our next speaker. Abby? Yep. Thank you so much. Today with us, we have an amazing expert, Marina Okhromieieva. Marina is a deputy head of Expert Support Coordination Center of the Chamber of Commerce and Industries, and she would talk about EU requirements for the export of agri-food products from Ukraine and opportunities that UCCI can provide for new exporters. Marina, hi.
I can't share with my presentation. I don't know why.
Once we turned off our presentation, now you can try again and everything should work. Can you try one more time?
Yes, just a moment.
All should be good.
Okay. I'm sorry, can you share with my presentation? I don't know what is going on.
We can see your workflow. Do you need any kind of help with that?
Yes, if you can share, please, with my presentation. Can you?
Alena,
I will share, yes.
Thank you.
It's not first time when I have some problems in Zoom with sharing my presentation. I don't know, maybe I need to...
We have these problems all the time, so no matter how experienced you are, you always will have problems with Zoom, so no worries about that. Also, dear participants, we can see your questions in the chat box. We will try to answer that questions during the other presentations, or we will send it to our experts and then share with you the feedback and their request, their replies. And I can see the presentation. Alena, can you share it in the full mode? You should click.
I have shared in full mode now.
No, not in the full mode. You can click Показ слайдов, and then yeah, we can see.
So I will do it again.
Yep.
It's pleasant that not only I have problems.
So
Marina, and now Показ слайдов, try, or this button.
Зависла.
It's okay. It happens. Yeah.
And now?
Not in the full mode, but
maybe we can continue in such.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think it's a problem.
Alena, but can you try to click next slide? Is it working or not?
I'm clicking now.
No, we can't see it. So turn off the full mode and then let's share it like this. Marina, it's a warm up before your amazing presentation. Yeah, let's do it like that. Marina,
And for
welcome.
now-
The floor is yours. Thank you for
Yes.
being here.
Thank you. Today we will discuss some practical legal aspects of foreign trade, especially focusing on how Ukrainian agri-food exporters must adapt to meet the European Union requirements. As Ukraine depends its integration with the EU, understanding and complying with legal frameworks is critical for export success. So why legal compliance matters? Legal compliance is not only about avoiding penalties. It also opens doors to broader markets, increases consumer trust, and ensures product safety and traceability. Next slide, please. Foreign, can you put the next one?
Alena, we can't see you clicking the next slide.
Presentation doesn't work, unfortunately. I should share it again.
So excuse me, if you can share it as a your screen as opposed to as a window, Aliona, that would allow for it to appear for you. Yeah, and then if you see down in the bottom right hand corner, there is a picture. It looks like a box with a stand on. Right
Yes, I
beside where you
use it,
zoom in
but
and
it
out.
doesn't work. So we will follow with this one.
Okay, perfect.
Foreign trade is governed by international and domestic law, and for Ukraine, this includes WTO rules and, importantly, the deep and comprehensive free trade area agreement with the EU DCFTA. And DCFTA requires Ukraine to gradually align its laws with EU legislation, especially in areas like food safety and consumer protection. Ukraine has taken many steps to harmonize its laws with EU regulations, and Ukrainian producers must work with the State Service of Ukraine on food safety and consumer protection for proper certification and inspections. Next slide, please. Where I wanted to tell some words about EU requirements for agri-food imports. Some of the core EU regulations relevant to Ukrainian agri-food exports include general food law, food hygiene package, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, certification systems such as traces and organic certifications, labeling rules, and food safety standards. Compliance ensures food products are safe and properly labeled for for EU market, for EU consumers. Next slide, please. To export to the EU, Ukrainian producers must undergo audits by authorized bodies. They need to implement HASP principles, maintain proper documentation. They need to ensure traceability throughout the supply chain and apply for veterinary, phytosanitary, or organic certificate. Next slide, please. Some practical challenges for Ukrainian exporters. Despite legal frameworks, practical compliance is really difficult thing. Exporters face with complex certification processes, a lack of trained legal and compliance staff, high cost of laboratory tests and audits, and limited access to EU recognized certification bodies. Next slide, please. companies that want to succeed in EU market, they need to consult legal experts on EU trade law, invest in HASP system, use accredited labs accredited labs for testing, keep all documentation and certificates up to date. Don't look for easy ways, look for right ones where you can be sure. The next one, please. What about risks and legal pitfalls? Incorrect labeling may result in customs rejection. Failure to provide full documentation delays shipments. Non-compliance can result in export bans or even fines. Contracts must be carefully drafted to reflect EU standards. Next, please. A few recommendations from my side is to build internal legal capacity or work with trade lawyers. It's regularly monitor EU regulation updates, develop EU compatible product specification, join trade associations for knowledge sharing and support. On the next slide, you can see information where to find certification requirements for the EU market. Exporters should consult the following key platforms: Ukrainian Export Promotion Office, State Service of Ukraine on Food Safety and Consumer Protection, EU Access to Markets Portal, and so on. Exporters are encouraged to regularly check these platforms and subscribe to updates to stay compliant and competitive. Next one, please. On the next slide, I will give information about Ukrainian associations supporting agri-food exporters. In addition to governmental institutions and EU resources, Ukrainian agri-food companies can seek support from local industry associations. These organizations provide guidance on certification procedures, help resolve compliance issues, and offer networking opportunities with foreign partners. And the Ukrainian Agribusiness Club, the Ukrainian Food Export Board, and the Organic Federation of Ukraine are among the most influential players in this field. And the next slide about conclusions. What can I say? Legal compliance is the cornerstone of successful foreign trade. By understanding EU regulation and working with reliable institutions and associations, Ukrainian agri-food exporters can confidently access and expand with the European market. Legal readiness is not optional but essential, and Ukrainian agri-food exporters must view legal compliance as an investment, and with proper preparation and the right partners, the EU market can offer a lot of opportunities. So my presentation is not very long, and I'm not a specialist in specific questions of certification, but UCCI has regional chambers, and we have a lot of experienced specialists in different products who can help you to receive answers to any specific questions.
Marina, thank you so much for the presentation. We've prepared several questions for you. If you don't mind answering them now, do you have time?
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. The first question would be, if we talk about like key challenges that you see Ukrainian agro-food producers face when accessing EU markets. So what are these challenges, and how does the chamber support overcoming them?
We already discussed about compliance with EU standards. It's the first challenge. The second one is about tariff and quota restrictions, because we have target-sensitive products such as sugar, oats, eggs, poultry, grain, products from local farmers. Of course, all we understand that we have problems with logistics and infrastructure, and unfortunately, some political and social pressure too. And as about UCCI, this UCCI supports the companies on its own way, and through its regional branches, UCCI offers market research reports, developing expert strategies, and matchmaking with verified EU buyers. We organize regular trade missions to EU countries, Agri-Food expos, B2B forums, for example, Siala, Nuga, to promote Ukrainian products. UCCI runs training programs to help companies to adopt EU-compliant food safety systems, and we can provide some templates and guidance for labeling, traceability, and custom documentation.
That's a huge range of
Yes.
support that you provide. And how can the startup or entrepreneur connect with you? Is that through, I don't know, email, or just following the social media and then applying for some programs and expos? What is the best way to communicate?
Different ways, in Facebook, in Instagram, by email, by our website, by phone. Exporters can go to regional chamber of commerce, or they can come to Ukrainian chamber of commerce, and we will give them the specialist from regional chamber. Doesn't matter.
And the last question would be, can you share some, I don't know, success stories of Ukrainian food startups and like partnership or programs that helped our startups expand internationally that you would highly recommend, maybe for our audience?
Yeah, we had and we have several projects which can give good results. For example, it's Erasmus for New Entrepreneurs project. It will be very good for startups. And when we say young entrepreneur, we are not saying about person's age. We are talking about business experience. It's mean a person without experience or with very small experience. This entrepreneur can go to EU country to experience entrepreneur and make exchange. And thanks to this project, we have such successful examples of entrepreneurs who grew lavender. One of them made honey. One of them produced craft cheese. And thanks to this project, and after the exchange, they gained business experience and insights for their production. They returned to Ukraine after exchange and successfully expanded their business, and they are now cooperating with a reliable partner, with their host. They are continuing to cooperate. And it's also important to add information about the Business Bridge Ukraine Ready for You project. This project has provided financial assistance to hundreds of companies that have been able to attend events in EU countries, to present their company, to find partners, to present products, to receive consultations on certification issues. Unfortunately, currently, the recruitment for this project is suspended, but you can follow our social media, and if we have some changes in this project, we will inform. But we have a lot of projects, and EN project, all we know, it's the largest network for finding partners in more than 65 countries in all over the world. And this project provides opportunities to publish your offer or request on the platform. You will have a personal manager who will help you to find partners, to find events which can be potential for you. And Erasmus and EN are long-term projects that we have been running for many years, but also we have ongoing short-term projects with different international organizations such as GIZ, IOM, USAID in the past, and of course European Commission projects. And thanks to these projects, we can provide free consultations for Ukrainian companies. And these consultations can include analyzing and identifying the target market, looking for partners, consulting on certification, and so on. So if companies who are today with us interested in any opportunities, please send me an email with information about your company, your product, your experience, your stage of expert, and we will offer you projects that could solve some of your current needs.
Marina, thank you so much for the presentation, such a wonderful overview of all the opportunities. I really appreciate you joining us today. I just want to say to all of our participants that we recently had a Market Discovery Ukraine workshop somewhere in February, and we had representatives like Olga Shubina from EEN, European Enterprise Network, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Also a representative from GIZ, EIT, who shared like how you can collaborate and how you can like take these opportunities. So highly recommend. It's on our YouTube channel of Seeds of Bravery, so you can take a look and learn more about the opportunities there. Marina, thank you so much.
Thank you for invitation.
Thank you. And we are moving forward with our agenda. And next speaker is Bram Kerssemakers. He's a program manager at Protein Port at Planet Bio. And he will talk about the future of food, exploring the alternative protein ecosystem in South Holland. Hi, Bram.
Hi there.
Hi, happy that you joined us today, and we are excited for your presentation.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for the invitation, and well, happy to share some insights with you on what we're doing in South Holland and how potentially we can be of aid in assisting in a soft landing spot and all the mechanisms that we offer to different companies. So I do have some slides. Is it okay if I start sharing those with you?
Sure. You can start.
All right. Thank you. So thank you all, and again, thank you very much for the invitation to be able to share with you some information on both Planet Bio and Protein Port here today. So my name is Bram Kerssemakers, and I'm heading this Protein Port initiative at Planet Bio. And so what I would like to talk to you a little bit about in the next 20 minutes or so, also leaving with you about what it is that Planet Bio does, how we can be of aid in offering a soft landing spot, the support that our ecosystem brings to companies, and then we will dive a bit more into the specifics of Protein Port, which is the program that I'm responsible for, which, as it says in the name, is dealing with proteins, and then I'll give you a couple of examples of initiatives that we have started, which are also in support of the companies that we have in our network here. So Planet Bio is an open innovation campus for biotech and food tech, and we are located in Delft. Delft the province of Holland, then we piloted to different universities such as the TU Delft, and also some other big agri-food companies that are with us in the region. What we are, as I said, we are a campus as a starting point. So this is kind of what the future of the campus looks like for us. With a recent very large investment of 500 million euros, we aim to be the leading agri-food biotech campus in the land. And this is the we located at the campus. There is the infrastructure, there's the hardware, there's labs, offices, there's pilot facilities, there is fully equipped shared laboratories for startups to work on their proof of concept. But this is not really what I want to talk to you about today, because what we also offer as a second element in the infrastructure, it is about helping those companies that are there in our network to grow, to become successful. And that is not just done by offering different types of infrastructure. You also need to get access to the right expertise, to the right people. You need to get access to finance, and you need to address policy and legislation. And so we are active in all these different fields, and I will give you a couple more explanations or examples of how we do this. Well, what does our ecosystem look like? Well, this is kind of a simplified version of the Planet Bio ecosystem. So we do have some founding partners. So these are the organizations that fund Planet Bio, which allows us to do our work not for profit and really be in support of the agri-food and biotech sectors. So you can see here there's universities, but also some governments, and there is also some private partners such as DM Firmenich and ASR. So this makes us kind of a triple helix organization, we call it in the Netherlands, where you do have the research institutions, you've got the governments, and you've got the private partners, and together they join forces to be supportive of the agri-food and biotech sector. So on the campus, we now have about 18 residents, and perhaps you know a couple of these names that are listed here. So there are a mix of food companies, but also biotech for materials or chemicals. It is a nice and diverse mix of companies that we host. And then, of course, we also go beyond the gates of the campus in Delft, and we work with different members and partners and a large extended network that we tap into to facilitate and support the growth of the companies in our ecosystem. And so that means that we do have the need for quite a diverse team as well, because all of these people that are listed here, the Planet Bio team, you can see they all have got quite unique skill sets and expertise that they bring to the table in support of the companies that we have in the network. So you could see, for example, Mohammed, who is responsible for partnerships between different companies. But then on the other hand, there is, for example, Fenneke, who is also coaching companies more on a science and technology level. Then there is Katri, who helps companies in their search for subsidies, for funding, building consortia, etc. Also a little bit more on that later. Then there is Maartje, working with educational institutions, and then me, for example, focusing on this protein port, this specific program focused at the protein transition. So what then, more practically speaking, does this support look like? Well, we are able to offer three types of support. There is the financial part, of course. There's different financial means that I will show you in a bit. There is the technical support, helping your company to grow. We'll give a couple of small examples for each of these support mechanisms. And I think, first of all, it's interesting to tell a little bit about this business support, and that is that Planet Bio is also able to act as a startup visa facilitator. Because if you have an innovative product and you would like to turn this into a business, and you would like to do so in the EU or in the Netherlands specifically, of course, you will need to register with the Dutch Chamber of Commerce, and you will need to have some financial resources to settle here. But what is a very strong support in this entire process is to be facilitated by a reliable facilitator. And so Planet Bio has got a a startup visa facilitator status with the government, so it allows us to kind of accelerate these processes and help business to land, and talking about the soft landing spot, to have them land in the Netherlands. So this is something that we are definitely doing to support businesses. Then how we help different organizations with their finances. Well, it can be done on the one hand, of course, by public funding and also by private funding. And I will tell a little bit about both of those aspects. So what we do with the companies in our ecosystem, not just the ones that are on campus, but the ones that are part of our network, is to help them navigate the finance landscape. So we do subsidy professional, so she can help do a scan of the different funding programs, see if you and your project idea fit the eligibility checks, also connect to advisory bodies, give some feedback to the content and the quality of the proposal that you might want to submit. And then to further accelerate this, we also play an important role in building consortia within the region, or the region connecting the region to other regions in Europe. This is one of the roles that we take. Another one is more on the, well, actually, this is also a public funding mechanism. So there's two of them. On the one hand, Planet Bio, we are able to offer financial support ourselves. So this comes in the form of vouchers that we give out to companies. You can submit an application, and then we will process it and try to support as many companies as we can. So this can be vouchers that you use to get advice, for example, from another company or from a consultancy firm. Then there's vouchers that you can use to actually settle in Delft on the campus here. And then we also do realize that a very important aspect for many companies is scaling their business. And often this is accompanied by piloting activities. So you can see that also specifically for these piloting activities, we offer vouchers as well. Then there is Kansen voor West, which is actually European funds, but they are regionally distributed. And so we keep very close contact with this funding body, because we would like to think along with them on which kind of projects would be good to fund in the coming years. And so there's various calls coming out, and of course they are all province specific and they have different topics, but we try to always find a way that the companies in our ecosystem are eligible and can fit in with these calls that are being published. And so you can see it's quite considerable. It's budgets of about 200,000 to 1.5 million for each project, and we really try to be a good facilitator in this process as well. Then there is a regional innovation quarter. It's an investment firm, and what they do is, and I think funds on the left are most interesting to you, because Innovation Quarter has got 4 different funds, but the 2 on the left are probably most relevant to you, because Unique is a fund for those very early stage startups with a smaller ticket size, but with a convertible loan in many cases for those lower TRL levels. But then as a follow-up step, there's the Innovation Quarter Capital Fund, which is, as you can see, considerably bigger and also offers larger ticket sizes to companies, but also then can either use equity or loan as instruments to fund businesses. And we work very closely together with Innovation Quarter, because Innovation Quarter is unfortunately limited in their investments by doing investments in companies in the region. So by settling in the region of South Holland, this also opens up a whole new range of investment opportunities. And then to showcase another way of supporting companies in our ecosystem, it's probably good to tell a little bit about the different public-private partnerships that we're active in. And then we start to focus a little bit on this protein transition topic. Because there is, on the one hand, like very regionally, on almost the municipality level, we're active in the Excellent project, which I will tell you a little bit about in a second. Then there is Protein Port, which is a main program which orchestrates many of these initiatives. There is Cellular Agriculture Netherlands, which is a Dutch national activity. And then there's Approvals, which is a European public-private partnership that we are also active in. So the Protein Port Initiative, what is it that we do? Well, we support the protein transition. So with all these companies on the campus in Delft and all of these companies in our network, we saw that there was a specific focus on the protein transition. And so the regional government said, well, we will need to support these developments and this transition more and more. And so we work with the sector to overcome different challenges. And what we see is that in the protein transition and in agri-food sector, there's many large-scale events, but we want to keep things small scale and targeted. We want to connect expertise along the value chain, get people around a table that really are there to work with each other and not so much just observe from the outside in, but really get those people together that together can make a change and build new value chains. And a little bit more about this protein transition. Well, what we can see, of course, and I think most of you are very much familiar with this, but there is a fact that we are growing as a world population and people consume more and more proteins. And of this increased protein share, there is also an increasing part of protein that comes from animal sources. And so what we do as a consequence, or what we face as a consequence, is that we're pushing planetary boundaries, that our food system is no longer being able to sustainably provide this protein for everyone. So we will need to find accompanying supplementary proteins to enrich our diets. And so this is on the one hand a behavioral challenge, right? We need to look at ourselves and at our consumption. We will need to look at our the fraction of animal-based proteins that we eat, and we will need to incorporate new types of proteins in our diet. This also leads to the protein transition being a distribution challenge. So how do we reduce waste? How do we valorize side streams, etc., etc. But I think very importantly, the protein transition is also an innovation challenge, because what we will need to do is provide new types of protein that have an adequate nutritional profile. They should be very nutritious products that we're making, but we also should be looking at the right functionalities in these proteins. They should offer the right taste and the texture and the smell, and therefore we need to look at new technologies to produce protein as well. And that's where we look at fermentation and cell cultures, etc. Well, the protein transition is also a production challenge, because if we look at those three squares on the left of the screen, you can see that globally we're really producing a lot of animal-based protein, right? Eggs, meat, milk, they're all in the millions and millions of tons that we produce and consume annually. And we are not at this scale with alternative types of proteins, be it plant-based or fermentation-based. But we need to get to a certain economy of scale, because what we see at the moment is that for those alternative types of proteins, consumers often need to pay a premium. You can see it on the figure on the right that across all categories, plant-based products are just not similar in price to animal-based ones. So we need to produce sufficient volumes to reach this economy of scale, so that also for consumers, it is more attractive to buy these products from a price point of view, of course. And the protein transition is an investment challenge, because what you can see on the figure on the left is that, well, starting at 2020, there all of a sudden was a large increase in investments in alternative proteins, plant-based, cultivated cells, fermentation, and this peaked in 2021 when a total of 5.6 billion dollars was invested in alternative proteins. But then afterwards, this started to far from these levels that we had in 2021. And the same is reflected on the figure on the right, where you can see that, and it's the graph on the bottom, the line on the bottom, the alternative proteins, that it is way smaller than the investments, the venture capital investment. The local axis here, it must be noted, is not a linear one, right? It's a logarithmic one. So you can see that where venture capital investments in alternative proteins cap at like 5.6 billion in 2021, the total venture capital was almost 650 billions, and climate tech had an investment of 75 billion. So really not on this level yet, and we need to figure out how we're going to get there again. And this is where Protein Port also comes in, because, well, these are all tremendously large, abstract, global challenges, but what we need to realize is what can we do regionally to start working with these challenges. We cannot just be paralyzed and sit still and expect other people to solve them for us. No, we need to step up and take action and do whatever we can do also in the region of South Holland. So on all of these topics, we organize roundtable expert groups, and we try to work towards new value chains, towards building consortia, towards finding new business models, towards finding new customer relationships, and that is what we do on these small scale expert tables. A couple of examples for you to illustrate how this could work. Well, that is that now recently we have worked with two startups in the region, being Proeon and Vivici, that might be familiar to you. Proeon making a plant-based protein powder, and Vivici precision fermentation protein. They joined forces in this project to combine their ingredients and make it into a product that can act as egg replacement for the baking industry. So this is really creating this new value chain, setting an R&D collaboration, but really working towards a product with a market impact. And so what Protein Port does in this is, well, we align the interests, we built the consortium, we help in fundraising, which we luckily were able to do successfully in this project. So it's now a 2 million project where these companies can start working together. And where we match startups with business talent that would like to apply their skills in an impactful sector. So we have startups that host roundtables, and at this table they bring a business challenge that they're facing. For example, they are about to do a new fundraising round, or they would like to better market their products, or they would like to better orchestrate their internal affairs. And so they're looking for business talent that can help them with these challenges. And through matchmaking, we to do so. Then lastly, as an example, it's the approvals project. I'm not so sure how many of you are working with cellular agriculture, but in this EU-funded project, we work to debottleneck in policy and legislation so that cell egg businesses can have a more smooth market entrance in the EU. What we currently see is that a lot of these businesses create products that fall under the novel food legislation, and so the timeline for them to have a market introduction is very, very long, which is definitely not sustainable for young companies that need to be able to move fast. So in this project, we joined forces with 8 consortium partners throughout Europe. And well, first of all, we want to build a solid understanding of the landscape, which companies are active in Europe, which experts are there. But then we don't want to keep it a desktop study, but we're really going to be working with the different cell egg companies. So currently we have an open call that we launched. And so we're looking for companies to apply and to start working with the consortium to pinpoint those problems with EU legislation and policy, and together with us frame strategic ways forward so we can make recommendations on how to improve the EU regulatory framework. Because in phase number 3 of this approvals project, we will start to disseminate. So as a sector collectively, with all those companies that we start working with, we will start sharing the message with policymakers in Brussels, and we hope to be able to convince them that some changes is needed in order to streamline the process for cell egg companies, and we hope to be able to give them suggestions and input on how they could do so. Well, these are some of the examples of what Planet Bio does, what is going on in South Holland. Also the role that an ecosystem like Planet Bio and Protein Port can play for companies. So I hope it gives some inspiration to you. But of course, this is not where it stops, right? This is a first introduction. So I can imagine that based on this presentation, you might have many more. specifically, if you're interested to perhaps settle in the ecosystem in South Holland, you can reach out to my colleague Jasper Driessen. If you're looking for ways to partner up with the ecosystem here, then my colleague Mohammed is, of course, a good one to reach out to. And if you're active in the protein transition specifically and you like to exchange thoughts on that or start initiatives, then I'm, of course, very much available to do so with you as well. Well, that is what I wanted to share with you today. So thank you very much for your attention. And I do think, Anastasia, that we have some time for just stop.
Yeah, we had a couple of questions, but I know that you have to leave in like 1 minute.
Well, we can do 5 minutes. It's all right if there are some questions. Yeah.
Let's we have another speaker who should have started 5 minutes ago, but we still have a room for one question, and the question would be, in your opinion, how easy or challenging is it to expand into the Dutch market as a food startup, and what are your tips for founders how to overcome these challenges or how to do a smooth soft landing?
I think this is one of the big challenges, of course, right? Because I think a lot of companies have great ideas, but finding your way into the markets can be quite difficult. And so what I see companies do, and what could be my advice in this as well, is that we see companies also try to partner up with more established companies from the food ecosystem, so larger suppliers, larger trade companies, and this way you can get a feeling for the requirements of your potential customer a bit better. And by iterating with them, I think that could be a very good advice. And this is, of course, something that we also take upon ourselves to arrange those introductions and to bring startups and larger established companies together to get products into the market faster.
Do you think it's a good like strategy to first come to like big corporates? Is there any like I could say obstacles in order to that they might be afraid, you know, that they can be penetrated, that they can be, you know, someone can steal my idea and something like that. So what do you think about that?
Well,
sorry, Bram, I can't hear you. You're breaking up. And no.
I think that my audio
now is good.
Okay, that's good. Well, of course, these are considerations that companies always have, but I think they're also very experienced in dealing with these kind of startup corporate interactions. But one of the things that we also do, which sometimes can bring a lot of added benefit, being kind of a neutral partner, is organizing challenges. So, for example, there is a corporate that is looking for a specific solution, and we then organize this as a challenge where different companies can, I don't know, sign up, bring in their solution, and then Planet Bio can become kind of like the neutral platform for interaction. So it can be first step to kind of get used to one another and then continue afterwards.
Love that approach. Thank you for like doing that, and hopefully our Ukrainian founders can also like apply and interact with you. I think that would be very beneficial for them. Bram, thank you for joining. Maybe we can ask Ata to send you other questions so you can answer them in written, and then we can share it with our participants. In the meanwhile, like, thank you for joining and supporting our Ukrainian food tech startups, agro-food tech startups.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Happy to help. So also feel free to write to me directly, anyone who would like to do so.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we are moving forward with our agenda, and now it's my huge pleasure to introduce you to the PM of EIT Food. It's Vera Voivodina, and she will help unlock the opportunities within the EIT Food. Vera, hi. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, we can
Hello,
see you.
everyone.
And now you can start sharing your presentation and
Yeah, sure.
talk about the opportunities.
I just want to say there are so many opportunities for you. I would like to be you, to have some startup.
100%. We can see the screen, but not in the full mode. Just try.
I'll try again, okay?
Sure, sure. And in the meanwhile, I want to say that after Vera, now we can see your presentation, we'll have the panel discussion, and this will be our last thing for today's agenda. So Vera, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so everything okay with...
All is great.
Yeah? Super. Okay, so my name is Vera. I'm also Ukrainian, so I'm supporting you, but from Warsaw. I'm representing EIT Food, especially the office, CLC Northeast office based in Poland. And today I just want to share our project and activities in which Ukrainian applicants can take part in, and very encouraged to apply. So maybe not every one of you is familiar what is EIT Food and EIT in general is. So in a couple of words, EIT is first of all a huge ecosystem. Through it, we connect researchers, academia, innovators, startups, SMEs, companies, and businesses, huge corporations, to create new technologies, new innovations for responding to global challenges and for boosting European competitiveness in global food field, let's say. We are mission-led institution, and our main three goals or missions, let's say, are healthier lives through food, net zero food systems, and fully transparent, resilient, and fair food system. It means that every our activity or project should be aligned at least with one of that missions. And as I said, EIT in general, but it's a huge organism, let's say, that is divided into 9, now it's 10 clusters that is dedicated to the different field. So I'm representing EIT Food, but there are also EIT Health, raw materials, energy, urban mobility, and the latest newly created cluster is EIT Culture and Creativity, and the fresh new, also even not launched cluster is Water, EIT Water, that is working with water scarcity problem, and so on. About EIT Food structure. As you see, there are 3 regions with 6 regional offices. Ukraine is managed by our North and East office in Warsaw. Of course, we do not cooperate with these terrorist states that are in gray. And here is a short timeline or something like this, or a way which you can take if you are very early stage startup, or if you are more mature company. I'll tell just a couple of words about each of our initiatives, depending on the stage of the startup. Pre-launch stage, then of course launch to the market, acceleration stage, and scale up. I won't say anything about seedbed because it's pan-European program, but Ukrainians are, of course can apply, but there is no special track or tailor-made editions for exactly for Ukrainians. Other programs are more specifically made for Ukrainians and you have more chances to be chosen. That's it. So let's start from the first stage, pre-launch. It just is the same, which you can take part in. Don't see to Southern Europe. We are focused on Eastern and Central Europe, where Ukraine is. The first activity that we have in Ukraine is Challenge Labs. As my previous speaker said, we also have more or less the same project, yes, when there is a challenge, and we'll try to find a solution, how to take it over. As Ukrainians, we understand how challenges are big and how important challenges we have now during the war. So we are focused in Ukrainian editions mostly on the challenges referring to the war circumstances and results. Focus on rebuilding Ukraine. And we were quite ambitious, and we started not one edition but two different tracks, two editions, one for startups and the second one for scale-ups. But their program were and will be similar. At first, recruitment of startups or scale-ups, and then a series of professionally tailored workshops, and then one-to-one mentorship. And the last stage, its final event. In the previous year, it was a New Food Summit in Kyiv, where our participants could represent their solutions or to have a pitch. This year, we also will continue these two tracks because it was quite successful, so why not to continue it? And I want to say that the applications, the recruitment for track for startups is now open until the end of May. So if you are early stage startup and you want to have a boost or to make corrections or some consultations for your business plan or for your pitch deck, please apply. The track for scale-ups will be also opened very soon. So if you're a mature company and want to expand to the new market in Ukraine, and find new customers, or to expand to the European market, we didn't decide on which exactly we'll be focused on. So you can keep on searching some information, but a little bit later. This is how to scale ups. Let's go further. Something for women, a program, special program called EVA, Empowering Women in Agri-Food, 6-month program that is, it's important, it's led in local language, so in Ukrainian. All other initiatives are mostly in English, in good English, to be competitive. But EVA program is in Ukrainian. So if you know someone, girls who are working in Agrifood, who wants to try their hands in entrepreneurship, the application is also open. And in Ukraine, it's so successful. So the organizer team decided to have it every year, because normally it take place every 2 years. But so high quality applications were in Ukraine, so much interest. So they decided to repeat it every year. It's just our previous year results. Something that Infra Booster Foundation, it was not mentioned on this timeline because it's very specific, narrow program. I just mentioned that it's for scientific institutions or universities that own their research infrastructures or laboratories. So if you represent this part of ecosystem, take a look at this initiative, EIT Infra Booster. The next, we are just still on the pre-launch stage, EIT Jumpstarter. It's 7-month pre-acceleration program for early stage startups. And that is not just food initiative, but available for all clusters participants, also from energy, raw materials, and so on. Here is the structure of this program. So at first, of course, recruitment, then online boot camps. You see how many teams were chosen. Then trainings, workshops, consultations, mentoring. And then in the final stage, it's grand final. It's really grand. It's huge party in November in Budapest this year will be, where the chosen teams will be competitive for prize, for financial prize. It's like 30,000 euros, I think, something like this. So it's good opportunity to start your journey with in startup community. As I said, it's available for all clusters, but except these 10 clusters of EIT, it was created special track, special way to take part in a Jumpstarter called Rebuild Ukraine, especially for Ukrainian participants. But your solution should be connected with rebuilding Ukraine economy, food system, and so on. Some renewable energy, for example. The next program is Team Up. In a couple of words, I call it Tinder because it's a matching mechanism of technologists or innovators, young innovators, who cannot commercialize their solutions because they are very smart, very based on science and so on, but they need some assistance in business. So they are matched with business professionals, and they together create something insightful, impactful, and in the end, in the final stage, they create agri-food startups. It's very effective program. There are really many startups that were created after it. Also, here you can see the structure, so application, of course. I think it's still open. I should check because I'm not so aware. Then this very important matchmaking process, this Tinder-like process. Then they are working together on their solution. Also, they have financial support during this time. And on final stage, they compete for final prize during the also grand final, like it has taken place during the jump startup. Okay, we finished. What about time? Do I have time? No.
Time for questions or time for
no? How many minutes I have, because I just finished pre-launch stage. I have 3 more.
We are actually out of time just right now, but I think like that's important, so you can I don't know, take 5 more extra minutes to finalize.
Thank you. So according to this timeline, I said something a bit about the pre-launch stage, but maybe some of you are very mature or more mature startups, so maybe some opportunities also for you. So test farms, also very narrow and specific program, but also very effective. So it's also Tinder-like, but in this case, it connects AgriTech or innovational AgriTech startups with farmers that give them opportunity to validate, to verify their solution in real farm or in real field. Ukrainians can apply also for both of them, as a startup and as a farmer. That's it. For validation, innovations, yeah? So you need to test somewhere your idea, is it work or not? Also, another specific and narrow program connected with regenerative agriculture. So also the focus, the target group is farmers or agri-food companies who wants to adopt regenerative agriculture practices instead of traditional ways that are not so sustainable. So it's an opportunity also open to Ukrainian applicants. Next one. So now we are in acceleration stage. There is something like EIT Food Acceleration Network. If I can tell, it's also Tinder, but the time it's for mature startups or companies that are connected with corporates or investors. So they also need to verify, to test their solutions or how to scale up their solutions, but in real conditions in business. So they are matched together. But you can see that there are 6, like say, branches, offices of fund project, and Ukraine is managed by Warsaw office, and you see it's written that it's future resilient agriculture. So every office has its own topic, and for our region office, it's future resilient agriculture. So there are here you can see the key topics you should be focused on to be connected with these corporates or investors. Smart farming, so it's modern, let's say. Nowadays, it's very actual challenges and topics. So biodiversity, also alternative proteins, and so on and so forth. But you should be focused on this. It's not something, you know, yogurt, dairy, or school feeding. And the last opportunity for already very mature working on market companies, as the name of the project says, sales booster. So you have to have sales, and when you want to expand your sales into the new markets, to the new countries. So this program gives you such opportunity. We also have workshops, trainings, mentorship, and some financial support to open a new market for your company. I think that is all. Sorry for being late, but I know it's a lot of information. If you want to contact me, please do it. I hope it was something useful to listen to. Thank you. That is all from my side.
Vera, thank you so much. Such an abundance of opportunities for our food,
Yes,
agro-food startups, for food
Exactly.
startups. I'm
Abundance.
like, yeah,
Yes.
I'm amazed, and it definitely was worth it to finish it, because you delivered many opportunities, and thank you for doing that. Thank you for being with us, and for supporting Ukraine. Of course, as Ukrainian yourself, yeah,
Yes, of course.
you and the whole EIT is doing an amazing job right now with the grants and with support of Ukrainian ecosystem, and we can really feel it, you know.
So please create new businesses, and we as a European, your representatives will try to lobby our interests in Europe.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vera.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we are moving forward to our last session, and we will have the panel discussion. And to moderate this panel discussion, I invite Ata from Erasmus Center of Entrepreneurship, who will moderate this amazing section on Ukrainian agro-food founders, with Ukrainian agro-food founders, stories of great growth and impact. Ata, the floor is yours to present our speakers and also to moderate the discussion.
Well, thank you so much, Anastasia. And also, just I want to take a moment to say to everybody who presented so far, all the experts, all the industry people really in this food and agriculture domain. Thank you very much. I think that was super practical, very interesting. But now is the moment to make it even more practical by getting a little bit more into the real life stories of the entrepreneurs. So first of all, I'm just going to present everybody. So I don't know if everybody has their cameras turned on already, but Christina, Natalia, Serhi, and Maria. So please feel free to switch on your cameras. So what I want to get started with right now is actually, and maybe Abby, we can actually stop sharing the screen as well, so we can see everybody. So I just want to get started with a quick round of introductions. So everybody knows you and everybody knows your company and what you're focusing on. Christina, shall we start with you? Would you like to give a quick intro on yourself and Inbox Wine and your role at Inbox Wine? And in a few sentences, what is the solution you deliver with Inbox Wine?
Hi, Ata. Nice seeing you, and thank you for having us today. Yes, I'm Kristina Brodic. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Inbox Wine. With Inbox Wine, we are building personalized wine sales for existing wine merchants. So basically, we are B2B vertical SaaS, and we make sure that every bottle of wine that is being sold in at the retailer shop is being liked by the end consumer.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Christina, for the quick introduction. Maria, shall we continue with you? Would you like to tell us a little bit more about Heft and also your role?
Sure. Yes, hello everyone. So I'm Maria Mashkovska. I'm a CBDO at Heft. We like to call it the Apple Watch for cows. So Heft is a small collar which you see on the screen, and bolus which is being inserted to the cow's stomach. That tracks heat cycles, chewing, and early signs of illness with 98% accuracy, and this helping farmers to save time, increase profit, and improve herd health. So we launched direct sales in Ukraine through our network of 700 farms, and we're now scaling globally via university pilots, distributor partnership, and major expos. So our goal is to capture $1 billion within 5 years, and we are moving forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. And actually, I'll come back to that point where you talked about the market expansion plans and vision around that as well. Of course, today's topic is soft landing, and soft landing involves also opening up to new markets and international expansion. So definitely we will dig deeper into that. But thank you very much. Natalia, would you like to go next and introduce your company and your role?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Natalia Zub. I'm a CTO and co-founder of a company called Sprout Dynamics. Sprout Dynamics is a food tech company, AgroTech company, and we develop a network of AI-driven mini factories that will be able to grow sprouts like mass production and deliver it to the end user without any human involvement. Now we are on an investment stage. We rebuilt our business model with an accelerator and is looking for 2 million investments.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. And Sergey, would you like to go next?
Yes, okay. Thank you. My name is Sergey. I'm a co-founder of a startup which is called Harvey Market. It's an online marketplace for micro farmers, basically, and our innovation that we want to integrate artificial intelligence to our service to help both sellers and shoppers to make the work and shopping experience more interesting. We launched quite recently. Had a grant from Seeds of Bravery, which helped us to develop prototypes. So we launched it a few months ago.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sergey. And also the part with the Seeds of Bravery part as well, that I really want to get back to that. So thanks a lot for sharing. And before I move on with the next round of my questions, actually just also a quick open call to action to the audience as well. If you have any questions for anybody, or just some general questions, you can just pop them in the Q&A, and I'll make sure to monitor that part as well while the questions are being answered. So for the next part, what I'm really curious about is, and of course, actually all of you kind of touched upon it already, so I don't want to repeat any of the answers. But what I'm really curious about is just maybe a little bit more elaboration on your current state, which stage you are in at the moment in terms of the development, and what were the biggest milestones of the past 1 or 2 months for you, and what is the next big thing for you going ahead? And Natalia, would you like to go ahead and tell us a bit more from the Sprout Dynamics perspective about that?
Yeah, sure. Now, as I mentioned, we are on the investment stage. We rebuilt totally our business model because over the last 2 years, we've been focused on B2B sales model, and we had very good collaboration with our partners who are organic food producers. They already won some good prizes in New York. And also we had we've been working with schools, but then we realized that all our production is like a manual. And in order to scale it up, we need to automate it and reduce human involvement as much as we can, actually, totally. So we decided to build this mini factory, but we've been struggling with our business model. We were thinking about franchise first, and then decided to go to B2C market. And this was like our huge step, because right now we can clearly explain every figure in our budget, in our financial forecast, and we are ready for investment round.
Perfect. So you kind of had that shift from the B2B focus to the more B2C focus. That was kind of the conclusion of the whole development round as well. And Natalia, just as a quick follow-up question as well. So at the moment, you are active in or which markets, which geographic markets are you looking into going ahead also after raising the investment part?
Yeah, we've been serving Europe market, but we realized that fresh food is not a huge challenge for European market, because we have here good producers and everyone can allow a fresh food. It's available in supermarkets. But once we went to US, especially in regions like Miami, we realized it's a huge challenge for them, because all fresh food is imported. So for us, it's much better market, and people are ready to pay for it. So right now we are moving to US, and we are on the stage of opening our legal entity there, and moving our production facilities also there.
Perfect. Well, thanks for sharing that. So Sergey, would you like to go next? Actually, you already mentioned that you founded around 2 months ago, right? And with also the Seeds of Bravery grant, that also was a way to fund this procedure of also the development part. So could you please tell us a little bit more about what were the big milestones you achieved in the past month, and what is the next big thing for Harvey Market?
Okay, so yes, we developed MVP thanks to the grant. We launched it a couple of months ago. Have been busy because we had a lot of bugs, so debugging took a lot of time. We integrated payment systems. So basically for us, big thing which happened that we launched this MVP and we tested it. We enlisted first farmers and artisans who trusted our platforms. They came to us, 23 sellers. And we actually had first sales from somebody from outside who purchased product on our platform. So probably this is the big thing which happened. And the next thing which we want to happen first, it's scale through Ukraine to enlist more sellers, have more shoppers in Ukraine, and then we want to try to go to selected European markets and offer our service to local farmers in Europe as well. So we also applied to another grant for Seeds of Bravery, which can actually help us to test the market, to have a research to see if there is a demand, and if there is demand, what would be the best way to enter. And we are waiting for results of this grant application.
Great, thanks for sharing. So the MVP launch is there, and then you also mentioned the big thing about the first paying also customer there. So that's, I think, definitely a big thing. So we will come back to the part where you also mentioned that you're ideally looking into also understanding which European markets would be the best match, and more on the market analysis side at the moment. So we'll definitely get back to that. And Maria, would you like to tell us a bit more from the Heft perspective? What were the big milestones you achieved, and what are the next big things for you?
Yes, thank you. So now we on the seed stage. So we have working MVPs, and we have tested 3 pilot firms in Ukraine, actually. But also we had CAS devs interviews in Ukraine, Poland, and Netherlands. It's more than 400 farms, different farms. And actually we understood that farmers do not looking for accuracy of detecting. They are looking for simplicity, and we are ready to bring it to them all. And also we are now testing AI, and we want to like have perfect accuracy to all our types of behavior. So we are like have heat detectors and fertility detectors, health and rumination. So we are testing it and send the test versions to our farms that are in Ukraine, and in such a development vibes. I don't know.
Yeah, great. And also, I think that's a very very nice reflection you shared, that farmers are looking for the simplicity part, and I think that does take some time to figure out those realizations from the end user part. But that's great that this kind of effort, the process full of effort, also resulted in these really interesting and practical insights. So thank you very much for sharing, Maria. And Christina, would you like to tell us more from the inbox wine perspective? What were the big things in the past month, and what is the next big thing for you?
Yes, thank you. We entered Seeds of Bravery with working prototype. So we already had MVP back then. It was at the end of the last year. With Seeds of Bravery, we were able to invest in development and production of AI technology, because the core of our business is technology. Now we already have working model that is scalable basically in minutes. So we can, we can work with that pretty much fast. And at the same time, what we are working on is finishing our first big pilot with the second large retailer here in Ukraine, Silpo, and signing our first commercial contracts here in Ukraine, and it happened basically at the same time. For us, it's already a big win, as for us, Ukraine is our home market, and here we were born as a startup. But at the same time, we are, of course, interested in other markets. And our key market now is EU as large. So we are talking to our top 10% of whom we consider as our priority potential clients. And another market is UK. So it's now being separated. So it's EU and UK. This is our main focus, and next steps are in this area. We are not working on investment part yet. At the nutshell, we managed to build up technology. We are happy with that, and of course we are working on improvement and in making it more accessible for our clients, more comfortable for them to onboard, etc. And at the parallel, we are working on another product that is called sales pipeline. So this is like two big parts of our focus.
Well, that's great to hear, and the fact that you already completed this like extra large scale pilot with one of the largest retailers is also, I think, a great traction. I actually have a bit of spontaneous follow-up question, and I'm not gonna target this to anybody. So whoever wants to take on this question can just speak up, basically. But what I'm hearing is the common trend that all of you shared is, first of all, the initial stage focused on really customer-centric product development for all of you, where you were looking into also the technology development. And then what I'm hearing for the next stage is you all had or are planning to have some type of more local validation, which will create the foundations for also scaling this further into different geographies. But also another common trend I hear in all four of your solutions is actually AI. And of course, when we are talking about the synergies between sectors, different type of technologies, that's just something that also picked up my attention again, because of course on the heft side, for example, Maria shared how the AI integration part is also the focus, and from Christina's side with Inbox Wine, AI is one of the foundations of basically the solution in the end. And Natalia also shared, hey, we just want to make sure that in this whole process we actually don't have too much of the human touch, and we want to also look at the AI part. And Sergey also shared very much similarly that the entire solution is also built on AI and creating that solution for the micro farmers. So I just want to ask this as an open question. How do you experience in general working with AI and integration with AI? And I'm asking this from kind of like a perspective where we also hear a lot of startups with the hype at the moment focusing on the AI part. So it can come across as two types of different messages. Some people say, okay, you're just one of the others that are trying to integrate AI, versus you are one of the really smart startups that are integrating AI in the best possible way. So how did you experience this? Any particular challenges with this AI integration, or what are the next steps forward when it comes to that? I know I asked a very long question, so I will give you a few seconds to process this. And if anyone wants to speak up, just unmute yourselves and go ahead.
I can start. We are AI-centric, so we basically started with this concept around AI. We built our ML, that is our technology, and of course we are working with existing LLMs too now, so we are integrating some parts of that. It's common sense to work with existing products too. But we are at the beginning AI-centric. When it was just a concept, it was very difficult to explain. AI hype was already there, but not yet there. And sometimes it was not that welcomed, actually, because not everyone had the ability to understand what it is and how it will work, etc. Even though in our case, it's pretty much straightforward. We are building digital sommelier, so it's like straightforward, right? There is a sommelier, there is a job of sommelier, and we are building just a digital version of that, kind of like that. But still, how it will be working online, will be chat? Not, it's not just a chat, it's integrated into the work of entire retailer system, etc. So it was quite difficult. Now what we are experiencing, we're experiencing that in Ukraine, at least, existing retailers are coming to us and saying, okay, we know that you are doing the thing. We need to integrate solution similar to that. Can you help to build it, please? So because there is already recruitment of AI officers in big retailer ecosystems, etc. They are already doing some kind of solutions, investing in this part, and we are just right there. And it's for us, it became much more easier to work because it's this. Of course, it's like it's not like this huge demand. We don't have this growth of like 40% or so, but this small demand that we already experiencing, it's coming from the clients, and they want AI, and because they see that investment is at least interesting to play with, even though maybe there is no 100% sure that they will have good ROI with that, but they want to try, they want to experience, to explore more. So yeah, that's our current stage with working with AI as a product and selling it.
Perfect. And it's I think very also significant to hear from your side, Christina, that it's the demand is coming from the people who are paying you. So I think that's always better to have that rather than trying to convince them. Does anyone else want to reflect on this question? Maria, I see.
Actually,
Yeah, you can
yeah.
go ahead. Yeah.
From our side, I can say that AI is very demand on the data. Because if we want to have like high accuracy, if we want to have working AI that could help, we need a lot of data, and that would be difficult because we need on the firstly we need to like give the test devices. Get the data, and then we need to like train that AI. But actually, everyone now wants an AI, and this is like a competition between a lot of startups. So I have better, I know I have. So we need to like be involved in this, and it is really like a needed thing today, because without it, a lot of people don't like imagine their lives. So yeah.
No, I think that's definitely a very relevant reflection as well. Thank you so much for sharing, Maria. Any other reflections on this question, or shall we move on to the next topic? Natalia, I see you unmuted. Go ahead, please.
You know, I always tell as a CTO that the most valuable asset of every company is data. And thanks to technologies that now we can digitalize our 3 years long experience. So we've developed so many tricks, and we had so many insights, how to grow sprouts faster, how to grow it more safely. Yeah. And right now, so we decided to integrate ML as soon as possible, even if it's like partially manual. So we integrated it, and now we have even more insights how to make it more fast and so more efficient. And we learning together with these AI tools for us. So for us, it's the most important part.
So what you're saying is even if it takes to make things manually, we just want to make it happen, and we want to learn better.
We will make a photo ourselves.
Yeah,
It's not integrated yet.
Yeah,
But
thanks for
the
sharing that.
is important. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And Sergey, how do you see it from the Harvey market perspective when it comes to the AI integration in general?
Well, for us, we know what to do and we know approximately how to do. The only question that it require additional financial resources. So we applied also to grants, and hopefully, if we will be lucky and we'll get the grant, we will start the integration. That's we at stage it. It's this thing AI. It's basically we are not Midjourney, we are not Runway, or so it's for like investor point of view. It's maybe not really clear what the AI could be doing in micro farmers marketplace, but we know how to do it, and because it's not clear for like actual investor, we are hoping to get grant money to integrate it.
Yeah, no, I think that's also another important reflection, right? With these types of technology integrations, there comes also the resource requirements, and that's also very smart to figure out ways to make that happen. So for the next part, I want to come back to this topic on different markets that you're looking into, because from what you shared, Maria, for example, you shared that you also conducted lots of interactions and interviews with some stakeholders in the Netherlands, in Poland, in Ukraine, right? And then Natalia, you shared also after doing a bit more kind of interaction in Europe, you decided to go more for the US market. And Christina, you also shared the focus on EU and UK. And Sergey, you also said some of the European markets also, after conducting some more market analysis, will determine where you go next. And I know that you all want to first focus on locally validating everything before scaling that much. But I think you are all really ambitious and passionate about also opening your solution up to new geographic markets, and that's what I'm hearing from everybody. But of course, it's also going to another market. Opening up to another market is not just simply taking the same solution and copying it and pasting it there. Of course, right? There are a lot of challenges coming with that. even more from the cultural perspective, how you communicate with stakeholders, how you communicate with clients, customers, and also how you become part of that new ecosystem in the new market that you're entering into. How do you know the right people? How do you make the right kind of network and the relationships that you will need there? As well as even when we talk about funding and investment, how do you find the investors now in that new market who are also interested in your solution in that market? So lots of different layers, lots of different complexities. So I really admire this challenge that you all took on to go ahead with that as well. But I want to ask this once again as an open question, but just giving a heads up, I'll still ask everybody because I'm really curious about all of your perspective on that. What are the biggest challenges you see at the moment when it comes to this kind of looking into the future geographic markets? Is it cultural? Is it finding the right people? Is it finding the kind of right ecosystem stakeholders? Is it trying to kind of create experiment or validation moments within those markets? What is it that you find most challenging at the moment? And if you figured out any solutions in this process, and if you want to also share them with the founders in the audience, we would love to hear your tips and tricks around that as well. Who wants to go first with this? Also another long question. So
Yeah,
I might also
can
give you
go if nobody is.
Yes, go ahead, Maria.
So if you're talking about dairy farmers markets, each country in each country in the world actually is a different world. Because different countries have different ways to produce like milk, etc., and they have different ways to manage their cows. So somebody is having like open pastures, somebody is having warehouses, and it is quite difficult to be with everyone at once. So we discovered that we want to be on the Europe market and also in the USA market. It is our goal in the future to capture it, but also there are a lot of mentalities in different countries, and it is also a question to in the Europe they want to have they don't need a tool, they need they need to save their time, they need to save their money, and they need results, and they even do not need to pay for the tool. They want a subscription, for example, like free tool, pay subscription. You have such tool for I don't know, a year, and you will have the results. But for example, in Ukraine, they want a tool. They want to have it for themselves, and they will feel more free, that it is theirs. They have it in their warehouses and etc. So yes, there is different business models for different countries and different mentalities, and it is the main challenge for us in the market.
No, I think that's a very, very good point that you shared, right? Because it's also, even when it comes to your revenue model, your pricing strategy, and how the end users also set success criteria, that's very different, and you have to adapt to those different situations. So very, very insightful reflection. Thank you so much, Maria. Who wants to go next with this question? The biggest challenges when it comes to this, more looking into international markets and how you are trying to solve these challenges.
Okay.
Sergey, I saw you unmuted. Please go ahead.
Let me try. So we are looking at big players. How do they do it? Like, for example, if you because we are a marketplace, we look at Amazon, and when it enters Europe, they didn't cover the whole like Amazon Europe. They enter it country by country, like Amazon Germany, Amazon UK. And as you rightly said, Europe is multifaceted, multicultural. And each country has unique culture, unique pricing on the products, unique delivery system, which is why, of course, we also take this approach, and we will try to enter first, one country, adjust it to a local environment, local legal requirements, local sellers and buyers culture, local pricing system, local payment systems, and test it and see how it goes. And after that, we will see what's the next opportunity.
No, I think that's great. That's a very practical tip for everybody as well, right? Look at some of the bigger players, how they did it, and try to see if that matches your context and if there's something to learn from there. So I think that's definitely very practical. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sergey. Natalia, would you like to go next? How do you experience that part?
Yes, it's an interesting part of our startup development. So first of all, we consider ourselves as a game changer because, sprouted food is not like popular right now because it's not available. The entire Europe can produce only 1 ton of sprouted seeds per month. And we can produce 4 tons already manually, and we want to produce 100 tons with our mini factories. But again, no customer habits for this, and it's just considered as a just some spices over the salad. That's it. But then we realized that it's not about like customer habits. It's about the product, how we advertise it, and it all depending on advertising budget. And so our partner is integrating into America, and we learned from them. And we went to America, to US, and we start to learn customer habits. And yes, we realized it's all about advertisement budget. And the product that we put inside that will consist of a sprouted spread. In that case, your advertisement budget should not exceed your revenue. And if your unit economy is okay, then you can scale. So we start tested it on the product, on the advertisement message, and so on. And we have found the product that will be a good fit for this in terms of unit economy. It was the biggest challenge for us, and the second one is, of course, legislation, taxation, FDA, all of this kind of thing. It's different in US, and you should be very wise considering like moving your business there. So we have a lot of consultancy, and our partners also spend a lot of time in all these documents and trying to understand their economy and what, let's say, new political laws will bring us, and what doesn't mean for us. So that's enough challenges.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think also very practical suggestions for everybody here is, first of all, make sure that you fully understand the external environment you're getting into and what that brings you back, and also use the right experts, consultants, whatever it takes to also understand it before you jump into that pool. But also the first thing you shared is with the customer adoption, with the customer habits, if you are smart with your advertising, and if you are smart with also budgeting that, of course, because that's the important part, you can create and see the right habits that will create the occasion for your solution as well. Thank you so much for sharing that, Natalia. And Christina, I also want to very briefly get from your side, how do you see it from the Inbox Wine perspective?
Yeah, we are building AI, but we believe in human to human, because I mean, here it's like a key in B2B for sure. So you are correct. You are absolutely correct that there are different environments, cultural including, and here it's not our experience yet, but it's really great to have local people. Okay, in EU, it's like there are many countries, but in UK, like local representatives. If not, to have access to ecosystems like different associations, clubs, etc. There are number, at least in our case, there are a number of different conferences and exhibitions, and to be part of that, those meetings, it's a great starting point to have this access to humans and then to build those human-to-human connections. Of course, we use modern technologies like different sales tools, etc., online digital tools, but crucial part is still investment in human-to-human communication.
Yeah, I think that's Christina. That's definitely another part that you touched upon, right? You need the even sometimes the local talent. You need to add people to your team, and you need to be able to find them. But also you need to be able to find the local ecosystem and the right people there. So definitely the human touch is really important. Well, being mindful of time, I want to say this was my last question, but I just want to say a very big warm thank you on behalf of the Seeds of Bravery Consortium as well to all of you. Maria, Christina, Natalia, and Sergey. I think it was really, really, really valuable and interesting to hear this journey from your sides. Very much practical insights and how you experience it directly, and very well technology-driven, amazing solutions as well. So once again, thank you very much for being part of this panel conversation. Anastasia, I want to leave the stage to you to wrap up the session. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ata, for an amazing panel discussion, and thank you our dear startups for being here today with us. Dear audience, this is the end of our Agri-Food industry soft landing workshop, and we're happy that you were able to join us. Just a few things, just the next slide, please. Just a few things as a suggestion for all of you. We have, as a part of Seeds of Bravery, as I told you at the very beginning, we have open to public events, and we have plenty of market discovery workshops and soft landing workshops and demo days that are already recorded and integrated to the Seeds of Bravery YouTube channel. So highly encourage you to check it. And also just for our startups who have been today with us, and to all it may concern for Seeds of Bravery beneficiaries, we will have the industry-specific Agri-Food demo day coming in summer. So just stay connected and don't miss the opportunity to apply, because we will invite investors and everyone interested in this field in order to get you more investments and more opportunities. I think today's session was full of opportunities that are available for you, our dear Agri-Food startup entrepreneurs, and hopefully you can take these opportunities, implement them, and grow your technologies even more. This was Agri-Food Soft Landing Workshop organized by Wacom Tech Acceleration, Erasmus Center of Entrepreneurship, Cyber Innovate with the help of Access Big. Thank you all for joining us, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you for invitation and such a good meeting. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.